Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Appetizer podcast. I'm Brendan,
I'm Aaron.
and this is our first episode of our podcast. The goal of our podcast is to entertain our viewers as best as we can. We would like to be doing this in person, but because of this self isolation, we're holding off on that.
And today we're hoping on talking about a few of some coronavirus conspiracy theories that we've read over the past couple of weeks and what we think about them, how serious they could actually be, what we think about the whole coronavirus in general. And I say let's begin.
Yeah.
So, an initial conspiracy theory that I've read is that China has released coronavirus on the United States as somewhat of a biological weapon and saying that they have maybe infected some of their own and sent them to the U.S.,
Yeah.
causing more people to get sick, decreasing our economy, things like that
Yeah.
in that realm.
Yeah. I could definitely see them doing that for sure. Because our economy, of course, is much bigger than theirs.
Well,
And
that's not necessarily true.
why do you say that?
They're very close to one another.
I mean, I honestly I feel like looking at both, I feel like ours is definitely bigger, like in size and like in importance towards like the world. I mean, do you agree with me on that at least?
Somewhat. Keep going.
Um, so them releasing the coronavirus on our on the U.S. and everything and stopping our economy is kind of helping like their economy grow more and trying to like get their economy better than ours. But honestly, I truly, it's a very good question. What do you think about it, Aaron?
Um, Personally, this is pretty far fetched for me. I don't see this happening. First of all, because one person or let's say 100 people are sent to the U.S. with the virus does not necessarily mean that we're all going to get the virus.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
if they really
yeah,
wanted to attack us with a weapon, it would most likely not be a biological weapon in this case. Also, our our economy and their economy they rely heavily upon each other in terms of trading and things like that.
yeah, that's for sure. But I mean, Trump did put the
Yes,
tariff
he
on.
did.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll leave it as unlikely in my book. What do you say, Brennan?
Okay. Um. See, I'm kind of starting to agree with you. You made a lot of good points there. Sending just a couple people to the U.S. to spread this virus is, I feel like, not really likely at all. But I mean, you never know what's possible with them, honestly. I mean, to be honest with
Yeah, as Trump would say, China.
you.
Um, all right. So
A hundred
actually,
percent. Can I say what? Just one more thing. 100%. If this ended up being true, like let's hypothetically, let's say this ended up being true. China actually sent people over to the U.S. to spread this virus and cause
hmm
our economy to totally go to a total recession. Let's say Trump found out about this. 100%, 100%. He would be like, "I was right. I'm the best." All this stuff. 100%. You agree with me on that, Aaron? He'd
well,
100% make a press call
he'd for sure tweet
and
about
do
it.
all that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I feel like they'd have like a meeting
Yeah,
about it for sure, so they can
yeah,
say all
but
that stuff. But
for some reason,
yeah,
I think that one's probably not true.
yeah, no, yeah, it's probably not. But
So actually,
we can
to
think.
if we can actually go into the next one now, if that's okay with you, Brendan.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Let's do it.
Um, so this one kind of counteracts that one, saying that the U.S. military actually introduced the virus into like Wuhan, China, saying that
Okay,
we were the ones that maybe brought it. I'm not. They're not saying that necessarily like how we brought it, but maybe infected some of their food with a coronavirus.
okay. Yeah, I could.
So,
Yeah,
but what would
sure.
be the point? Going along back how I just said, like we rely off each other for trading and whatnot. So I don't
Yeah,
really think that's. I'm not gonna really entertain this one that much, along with other
I
one.
mean, like maybe they're getting back at us for. I mean, since Trump, honestly, I have mixed views on Trump. I'm just gonna go out and say it, but ever since Trump and China have had like differences about their trading and everything, all these tariffs putting on each other and all this stuff, you never know what China could be capable of and doing. I mean, this sounds I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but I mean, might be true, might be not. I don't know, but it like going back to what you're saying, like I mean, it just sounds really dumb. Like I don't really see the point behind it, like poisoning their food and bringing it back. But I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably yeah. I mean, we can both agree this is pretty much impossible for this to happen. That didn't
Yeah,
happen.
100%.
Okay, so
Batman.
here's another one. This one's actually pretty popular. I'm sure a few of our listeners have probably heard about this one. So every few, I'm not gonna say generations, but we'll say um so like in telecommunications technology, like for example like 3G, 4G, and now even 5G is being released.
Yeah,
It's the latest version. And so
yeah,
in the past, like this sort of changing has been blamed for like a lot of things like autism, diabetes, obesity, like asthma, cancer of like populations.
yeah.
So people are saying that maybe the introduction of 5G into the populations is causing um is causing the coronavirus.
My input on that, I see. I don't know. I think it's. I honestly think it's kind of dumb. I mean, 5G network getting introduced to the population. I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons to that, but I feel like the pros for the most part overweigh the cons. 5G is supposed to be the fastest, the strongest, everything. But I mean, yeah, I just don't know about the one. I truly think it's dumb that people would like think that 5G is definitely causing the coronavirus and all these cases and everything. But no, I truly just think it's a whole nother situation besides that. What about you, Aaron? What do you think on that?
Um this one actually interests me a lot because if we go back to I'm not sure if it was 3G or 4G. I think
Yeah.
that once one of those was released in the past, a new virus or like disease actually spread. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when 4G was released, which was like I don't know, do you know the date on that? I
let's
can't think of
no,
it.
yeah,
No,
no.
but I feel like around that time Ebola was one of the viruses that was happening in Africa. You remember
See,
that with
I'm not sure about like the full landscape of that, but I do know that because there once there is activity, like when we talk about telecommunication, we're really just talking about like activity.
yeah.
So the more activity going on, I guess maybe could relate to the amount of people communicating with one another, touching, spreading virus germs, etc.
Yeah.
So I'd be willing to entertain this one. Um,
Okay, yeah, I kind of see what you're saying about that. Like the more people talk and touch and get closer to each other, and the more the population grows and everything, the more people. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
yeah. So this one, I'm not gonna say likely because I mean, coronavirus is just science, but
Yeah,
I, I'd say possibly maybe for this one.
yeah, I yeah maybe. I mean, who really knows? To be honest with you, like it's really interesting. It's a good question and good
Hmm.
conspiracy and everything, but like we really can't. We don't have hard evidence that
Yeah.
this is 100% like the reason. So can't really say
Okay.
anything about that.
So there's another one. This one's somewhat interesting because this one's saying that the coronavirus is causing like this massive fear of leaving your house and things like that. That people are actually not dying from the actual coronavirus, or there might not even be a coronavirus, but in reality they're dying from fear.
Okay.
So
See, I can. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can put your input on that first,
okay,
and
so
I'll say what I say.
well, this one came from Kelly Brogan. She's a holistic psychiatrist, and she
Okay.
blogged on Gwyneth Paltrow's website called Goop. And
Okay.
she says she doesn't believe in germ-based contagion. So I mean, it's a little off, but
Yeah.
um, it's it's possible. I see this as sort of like the idea that like an experiment in 100 people, 50 people are given a drug and 50 people are also given another drug, but it doesn't actually have any medicine in it, but they still end up being affected by it because our
Yeah,
brain, our
there's
yeah,
psychological like
effects of the
their brain kind of like
yeah.
yeah controls that. Yeah, I could
So
see that.
yeah, like when people like have been known to like heal from an injury faster if they actually are determined in healing, like not just going through the motions. So this one's
Is that factual or is that
this
just
is another just
by?
like psychological thing.
Okay, okay.
So hearing this, I mean, I'd say maybe a few people have died from the fear, especially people who have severe anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. That also comes into play with this. I will believe her on that part. Like people with anxiety, depression, all these other diseases, they might be dying from fear, like suicide, all these other things.
But it
You
also
never
might
really
not even
know.
be related.
It yes, that's true. That's also true. We don't really know what to believe, but yeah,
Yeah,
I could back that up. But you said earlier that she said that she doesn't believe in
germ-based
like
contagion.
germ, yeah. But I honestly think, pardon my language, I truly think that's bullshit. There's been so many other diseases and so many other like the flu. Like everyone knows what the flu is. Do you really think that's psychological? I truly do not think that's psychological. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that she would
But the
say that.
thing about the thing what they're saying though, you have to agree with this. We don't quarantine because of a flu.
That's true.
Our president does not place quarantine procedures on states in the country in times of in flu season. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about it, it would probably be helpful, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying
but
that
like
doesn't
that
happen. So this is a little bit
I
more
mean,
severe.
it would be helpful, but like also it would hurt our economy
That's true,
like
but
extraordinarily. So,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things on that. I mean, like not quarantining for flu and like other diseases and stuff, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that you say that because coronavirus cases, there are way fewer coronavirus cases. I mean, deaths. Sorry, a
Hmm.
year. Well, since this is the first year, we don't know in the near future what would happen. But the flu this year has more death tolls than the coronavirus cases and deaths overall right now. I was just
So
actually reading something about that, which is
so
it's interesting.
yeah, I don't. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna say this one. It's interesting because of the obscurity of it, but it's. I mean, it could be looked into because
Yeah, definitely.
um for me, I don't see it like affecting someone who doesn't have anxiety.
Yeah, I
So
could. I'll back you up on that. I feel like like let's say hypothetically, just normal person, no issues, no nothing, just living their life,
mhm,
self quarantined, everything totally fine.
yeah.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it affecting that at all. But people with these diseases and all these other anxiety and all that stuff,
Mhm.
I mean, you never know. It could happen. It could
Well,
happen. Not.
another
It could
thing to
not.
think
I don't
about,
know.
Brennan, is once someone's daily schedule or routine or lifestyle changes like during this time, so like for example, like us going to school, coming home, doing homework, doing a sport or activity, being a part of a community. Like
Yeah,
once a person loses this stuff, like it can really affect their brain.
I could.
So
Yeah, I could understand that. I can understand that.
so
So I mean, that part definitely backs up her theory on this whole thing
yeah.
because like it does affect. It's literally affect everyone. Like no one can't say that it hasn't affect them because it has. I mean, self quarantines
Yeah,
all around the
yeah.
world. It's been happening everywhere.
It's closed places
Ev-
that you would usually go.
yeah, everyone's lives have been changing because of this. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So like, her theory is smart when it comes to that, but yeah, you really can't speculate that. I don't know
Mhm.
for sure.
Okay. Do we want to jump into another conspiracy theory or anything else to say on this one?
I think this one's in the books. You can jump to another one.
Okay, so this one's me and Brendan were actually talking about before the show. Um, So this one is saying that coronavirus was released as a method of population control in China, and it
Yeah.
actually spread a lot more than they thought it would.
Yeah.
So, like, um, this one's kind of stupid in my book though, because I mean, you wouldn't kill your own country.
See,
You wouldn't kill your own
that
population.
honestly, I'm gonna stop you on that. I honestly think so. China has one of the biggest populations in the world. That's factual. Everyone knows that. So to release this horrible virus on their own people, yeah, it 100% would be really stupid. But if you're looking at it from an economic and pollution, like pollution that's in China, like that perspective, I could see why that is like in the topic of like talking about. I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with me on that part? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely
Um. I I see what you're saying,
yeah.
but
Well, like
this
it is
one, I mean,
very
usually
yeah,
I
it's
know this
pretty
is a
stupid.
little bit insensitive. A country cares more about their population than any other nation's population.
See that yeah, uh, that could be true for certain nations, for certain types of countries. But I mean, yeah, it is pretty selfish if a country is really only focused about their population and not the total world population, and us as a human like society. I truly think it's selfish and that it's really stupid.
Okay. So you think this one could be possible though?
I see. I do because just because of like all the problems that have been going on in China, like big ones, very big ones, pollution. Pollution is caused by many people. They
Yeah.
have many people, and it's a good topic to talk about. But if you were to say, let's, can you think of a different country? Give me a different country
Russia
besides China. Russia, like
or the
yeah.
U.S.
So or yeah, or the U.S. I feel like I couldn't see another country. I could see some countries this could be possible,
The
but
thing
I
is,
feel yeah.
in
You gonna
other
say
countries, maybe in my opinion, I'm not sure on the numbers. The only other
yeah.
country that experiences extreme population like control, they need to like control their population more would be like India.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, yeah, that's definitely something to talk about. I mean, I don't see. I mean, India does have a very big population with a lot of pollution,
Like
and I
in these populated cities in
yeah
China,
yeah
um
yeah
this is just striking me, but no, I didn't actually read this. But when you think about it, I know like the pollution and all the germs being spread, so a lot of people actually wear masks already, right?
yeah that's
So it's
true.
something to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about that
Everyone
they are
everyone
somewhat prepared.
okay. Yeah yeah. I could see that. Yeah, even before this virus happened, they were wearing masks there because literally you can see the pollution in the air. I don't know
Yeah.
if you probably have never been to China. I
No.
haven't either. But one of my actually example of it, my dad's friend, he has to go to China almost every month to work.
Uh huh.
He told us when he came back that you could literally see when you are walking in a certain city. I can't think of a city right now, but most cities, most big cities in China have this problem of pollution. He
Mhm.
told me that when he was walking through the streets, you could see the pollution in the air. You
Wow.
can see it.
Yeah.
It's that thick and that built up that they have that problem. And I
Mhm.
feel like in the near future they should really consider like fixing this. That should
Population
be one of their
control.
biggest topics
Population control.
on their agenda. Yeah. Well, no, not. I mean that has a big
Well, let's think about it.
that's a big topic,
How
but
would you? How can you truly maintain a
you can't.
population? Because like
You really can't.
in the past, China's government actually, I'm sure you know about this, like their one child policy,
Yeah, I heard about that.
and like
I
most of
heard about
the, and so people were forced to only have one child, or
it. Yeah.
abort one if they had another.
Yeah.
So um yeah, so I think that's pretty sick.
yeah, it's really
So I'm
disturbing.
not
I
I'm not
mean,
exactly sure. Maybe like relocating people, and a big way to do that would be relocating certain jobs. So like if Samsung moved their headquarters to, let's say, city A instead of city B that's already insanely populated, it would cause a
yeah,
large group of people to move.
yeah, definitely, yeah,
But there's already lots of activity in certain regions and companies don't want to move. So I'm
yeah,
not exactly
which
sure
makes
unless the
sense.
government forced a company to move why or how a company would move their industry or their industrial production. But
Yeah,
so but I don't see using coronavirus killing off your own population to as a method of population control.
yeah, I don't really see that either. I mean, this disease, as everyone knows, is very deadly. This is a very serious disease,
Hmm.
and to just do that and put that on their people, I mean, I just feel like
Yeah.
that's just honestly just dumb. Like it just
Hmm.
doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, it's a theory. It's out there.
Uh huh.
I mean, it might. Yeah, it's a good topic to talk about.
All right. So this one we'll move into a funnier one or two here.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
So this one we don't really need to entertain it at all, either of these, but this one says drinking cow urine is proven to prevent coronavirus.
All right, now that's just. I mean, whoever said
If
that,
you
just
think this
it,
one's funny, wait till the next one.
that honestly, that's just the dumbest shit I've heard. Drinking. Look, you gotta really think about
You know what this kind of
this.
reminds me of?
Yeah. What's up?
Who's gonna try this? Who's gonna see if this
Honestly,
works?
to be honest with you, you know all the challenges that have happened in the U.S. with these all these kids, right? The
Such as like
Tide Pod
Tide
challenge,
Pods, bleach,
Tide
stuff like
Pod
that.
bleach. Like you never know. Someone could be actually that
Yeah.
dumb to do this. Like you really never know. But that's just that's
Yeah. All right.
so
So
dumb.
how about this one? Certain essential oils being inserted into your anus could possibly
Okay.
prevent coronavirus.
Okay. Let's move to the next one because that like what is there to even talk about that? Like you can't really talk about that. That's just
I mean, I'm not like a biologist. I'm not sure if there's any actual science behind that, but
if someone all right, hypothetically, if someone came up to me with factual proof that
it
inserting the
worked.
natural oil and it worked,
Hmm.
I would just be stunned. I wouldn't know what to say. First off, I don't think a normal human being would ever even think of doing that. Even honestly, even if it was factual. Even if it was factual, I truly do
Yeah,
not
that
think.
that's something I was gonna say. Is
Yeah.
even if that did work, would people with coronavirus all be okay with having essential oils, certain ones, injected into their anus?
I feel like I feel like it depends on their situation. Let's say okay, for
I
example, I know someone that had coronavirus,
I'm sorry to
but
hear that.
not
Okay,
serious at
okay,
all,
okay.
not serious at all. And let's say just like cold symptoms, right? Just they spent their 2 weeks self isolation, they had it, and then it went away. Nothing
Yep.
happened to it.
Uh huh.
But with someone that's in a really serious matter, like on the verge of death,
Yeah.
literally you could die from this. Honestly,
Mhm.
I feel like they definitely consider it if they were on literally their
That
deathbed
that
and
reminds me of
they
something.
could do
So
anything on.
in a press meeting, a few
Yeah.
governors I've heard so they've been asked by media, what is your what is your opinion on testing certain vaccines on people who are on the deathbed?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, I mean, in my opinion, it should be up to the patient. I'm sure you agree. Um,
100%. 100% should be
so
up to the
yeah, in
patient.
this case, it's the same thing. I mean, if you told
They
someone who was on their deathbed, "Hey, we want to try shoving essential oils up your butt," I mean, I would probably say yes.
I know if you're on your death. I mean, viewers that are listening to this right now are probably thinking, "What the hell is this guy talking about? This shit that doesn't make sense." What? Because they're not in that position.
Yeah,
They're
that's
not in that
true.
position.
None of us
So
can
if
really
they were
relate
to act,
unless you have
yeah,
coronavirus. Then that, yeah,
yeah, like none of us can really relate to that until you're actually there.
yeah.
So I feel like for most people listening, us included, I feel like if we were in that position, I feel like we'd give it a try and see if what and just try anything. If we were on the verge of death, I'd honestly try anything
So
to
if
just
it was up
try
to
to clear
you,
this.
just asking you as a friend here, would you do the cow urine or the essential oil?
If they were to put me down for the essential oil at my ass, I'd probably if they were to like put me under, like for
Oh,
like a
like give you
surgery like
drugs?
that, yeah,
Okay.
like anesthesia or whatever,
Uh huh.
then I probably would. If they
See,
couldn't, then no.
I'd for sure go cow urine.
Really?
I
You drink Callian?
I don't want
Huh.
anything on my butt, Brendan.
Okay. I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but I couldn't. I don't think I could get that down. I really don't think I could get that
I
down.
think you'd find a way.
True. Yeah, that's true. If I was on the verge of death, I'd probably find a way of doing that. That's for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So how about here we maybe transition into so here's like a newer story, not a conspiracy theory. Um
Okay.
so states are kind of rushing to reopen, I would say. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, because the
So,
economy and
yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so effective. Well, the
Yeah,
coronavirus
100%.
is so effective towards that stuff. But
Yeah.
scientists are actually fearing that the coronavirus will come back and affect us more than it did previously. So, this is interesting because think about this. So, in the past, when a certain virus has been quoted as like it's not effective anymore,
Yeah.
and then we all go back into the economy, to our daily life, and then guess
Yeah.
what? Many, like lots of people, then are then affected by it.
Yeah.
So when is it truly okay to say, hey, we can go back, or it's over?
See, my input on this, I honestly, I don't really think there's a time where you can say that,
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
but I agree with you in some portions of that because our economy cannot handle being closed for
For
blank
that long,
months. Yeah,
or we'd literally repeat history
yeah,
with the recession and the
yeah.
depression and everything. Yeah.
Uh huh.
So, I mean, I
And
just
I
don't, yeah, I really, that's a really hard thing to like make, like a decision to make.
yeah,
Like if you're the president and that stuff is just put on you out of
yeah,
nowhere. Like when like someone asked that, when's the economy gonna open up? When are people gonna be able to go back to their normal lives? It'd be the biggest decision of one of the biggest decisions of his presidency.
yeah.
It has to be. So
Another
I
thing
don't
is
really think.
here. Sorry to cut
Yeah,
you
yeah.
off. Another
No,
thing
no, totally
is
fine.
I think people are actually on his side for opening it up faster.
Yeah,
Even though it could affect us even more, I think it's hard to see that right now. In
yeah,
that you just want to get back out and see your friends and get back to work and help your family, but I I don't know. I kind of
yeah. All
stand.
these.
It's like a safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Because I mean, yeah, all these people who don't have the coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
and probably some of them are not even affected. Like none of their family, none of their friends, no one's affected by it.
Yeah.
Of course, they're gonna want to go back out as quick as they possibly can.
Yeah, that's true.
But you never know. You said the scientists say that there could be another wave
Yeah.
sometime in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you could probably get like affected by that. So we just
Yeah.
you just got to think about it for a
Yeah.
sec. I
It's
mean,
like
yeah,
it's like you don't believe it till you see it. That type of thing.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
But
I
yeah,
think let's transition into maybe our last story of the day.
yeah, 100%.
Okay, so now I thought we would just talk about how coronavirus is affecting sports as a whole, along with
Okay,
like people to come out and that are helping the community. Well, personally, I want to talk about the All In Challenge. Have you heard about that?
I actually haven't.
So
What is it?
Michael Rubin, he is the founder of Fanatics, or the CEO
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
Fanatics. He
I know.
he actually started the challenge. So lots of like celebrities and like big name like artists and stuff like that are taking their going like to Instagram and stuff like that and social media and
Hmm.
saying like to help so people are donating to certain charities.
Okay.
So they're asking for a donation in return for like a day with them or like an experience.
Yeah. Oh, see now I'm like remembering. I feel like I have heard something about that.
So like
I honestly, yeah, you go first.
yeah, so like Tom Brady for example, he's like offered to have dinner and like have invite like the recipient to the auction to his game and talk to them and I mean that's pretty cool. I think it's awesome that celebrities and athletes and like artists are doing this type of stuff. Help
I
charity.
really think it's a smart idea on their part
Mhm.
and on Michael Rubin's part to even
Mhm.
creating this. I mean, it is a really smart thing to do. It definitely helps with the virus and all the donations towards research on this and everything. And I feel like it definitely would get more people to donate and help to this cause. Because I
Yeah.
mean, who wouldn't honestly? Who wouldn't want to spend a day with their favorite celebrity or favorite artist or someone? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. Here, I'm actually gonna pull up right now an example. So, like Ninja, for example, he's offering a 3-hour virtual gaming session with himself and an entire gaming setup. Or
That
like,
sounds
or
that's good.
like
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, he's offering a private putting lesson with him and like a VIP experience at the Hero World Challenge. Or like Drake, he's offering to fly with him on his private jet and like go to LA and party with him. Like this stuff is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, yeah, if it was me, 100%, I would definitely donate to Drake. I mean, come on, it's a
Yeah.
private jet. It's a
And
private
another
jet.
cool thing about this is that so some of these are auctions, so they're going to cost hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars, right? But
Yeah.
others are not. So they're just sweepstakes. So you could potentially spend $10 on one raffle ticket and win one of these. So I think that's super cool too to give everybody a chance. Because let's be
Yeah.
real.
I
I mean,
mean,
I can't afford to give somebody $1 million to buy Meek Mill's Porsche. So
yeah, 100%. Like if you really think about it, like there's not a lot of people who have that type of money on them,
yeah.
especially in this like virus and especially in
Mhm.
this like day and age. I mean,
Yeah.
all the everything that's happening and I just don't think they have the money for that
Actually,
and
on their
it's
website
really
right
cool.
now, on Fanatics website, it actually says that in total they've raised $40 million.
That is really good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of progress. That's actually really good.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Um. How about we talk about the NBA, how it happened, all that. So, obviously, the Thunder and the Jazz were gonna play that night,
Yeah,
and and then they canceled the game due to coronavirus because Rudy Gobert tested positive.
yeah, I heard about
And
that. Yeah,
then eventually Donovan Mitchell tested positive, and this actually sparked like a lot of activity because, like in a press conference prior to this, Rudy Gobert had somewhat of like a I don't care vibe to him about the coronavirus. He was
yeah,
like he was touching the
and he
table and
touched
the
all the microphones.
microphone, and I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
I know I'm sure his teammates have probably forgiven him by now, in that they were probably gonna have to close the league regardless of Rudy Gobert getting the virus. But
yeah.
what do we think about that?
On like Rudy Gobert's attitude towards it,
Yeah,
like to start
yeah,
it out.
yeah.
I think it was really selfish.
It's a little careless and selfish.
It is,
Selfish, I
yeah.
think, but he owned up to it. He apologized, but
I mean, it's just something that like it you really shouldn't do. I mean, this was towards the start of
yeah, not that many
this whole
people
thing.
even knew if it was gonna be that effective.
Yeah, and I mean, I could understand why he'd do it and joke around with it, but now that it's this serious and everything, like I guarantee you that he did not know that it was going to get this
Of
serious,
course,
and
yeah.
like so many people are going to have it,
Hmm.
which I can understand from his perspective. But I mean, still, just even when there's something like this happening, I just
Yeah,
truly don't think that like it's a smart thing to do. Like
yeah. Like even,
you just
but
shouldn't
like
do.
now, like when like we're all informed, obviously, everyone knows the best chance of not spreading the virus is just by staying home and self quarantining. I mean,
Yeah.
but now if he were to do something like that, that I think that would catch a lot of media attention and he'd probably be punished.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
but I think that's important.
Yeah, yeah, it's important to think about.
Also, another
Like,
story that I think we should talk about is so when Tom Brady, he is playing for the Buccaneers now in Tampa Bay.
yeah,
So he was actually going to pick up his playbook from a coach's
hmm
house, and he actually went into the wrong house.
really,
Yes, and he
huh?
didn't know.
He
And
didn't know.
yeah, and the police were called, and but he was not charged with anything. He was just
Yeah, I mean that
I,
honestly, yeah, that's kind of stupid. That's kind of stupid to me, but
but
it's
then
it's funny.
yeah,
It Yeah, it's funny. It's funny to think
it's
about
yeah.
for sure.
Also,
But
he was actually seen at a public park. I think he was working out of some sort or doing something at a public park,
hmm
and so he was frowned. That was frowned upon too. But
yeah,
I mean, I
see,
don't think
see
he'll
that.
receive much backlash from that.
Yeah, see, look, that's where it interests me. So, all these celebrities could have backlash for doing something that's horrible. Like
Uh huh.
not even horrible. Sorry, not
Yeah.
even horrible. Like just going to the park, walking into someone's house, like you said with Tom Brady. But
Yeah.
if someone like us were to do that, like the media, like no one would find out. Like
Yeah.
it's just because
I
he's
agree.
famous that he's getting all this
Yeah,
backlash
I
and
agree.
all this stuff. But yeah, if it was someone like us that did this, it'd just be okay. Yeah, like, it wouldn't even be on the media. Nothing would happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, it's something to think about.
Mhm. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps up our first episode. Thank you to the viewers for joining us.
Yeah, thank you
Um,
so much.
we try to keep it under 45 minutes because we know you guys have time. You guys don't have that much time on your hands, and you have work and school to do. So thanks for listening. Anything else to say, Brendan?
No, just thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us some of your time to listen to this, and
Yeah.
just have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you in the next episode. Oh, and by the way, it would be awesome if you could go on Instagram and follow us at appetizer.podcast. I repeat, appetizer.podcast. And that's where you can stay up to date on posts and activity from our podcast and when we will be like releasing new episodes, things like that. Maybe even possibly giveaways, shout outs. It's an awesome place. You just come stop by.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.